Good morning and welcome to City Chat with City Magazine, everyone. I'm Kilee, Harmon, General Manager of City Magazine, and today we have a special guest, Terry Lincoln, who is the director for the Dakota Zoo. Hello.
Yes, hi. Nice to be here.
And for everybody that's on the radio, you can't see this, but we've got a special little goat in here today.
Yep, this is May. She's 1 week old, and she's our newest resident at the Dakota Zoo.
Oh my God. So, who's the mother and the father?
The mother is Snowflake.
Okay.
And the father is Nicholas. And so, yep, all of our goats have names. And this is, we weren't actually expecting this one. Snowflake, the mother, is just about a year old. And so she kind of got busy real soon. Real sudden-like. So
what time do goats normally have a baby?
Well, they'll actually breed year-round, and so we sort of have to watch that because we don't want goats born in January or something like that. It might be tough for these little guys to make it in the really cold weather, even though they have, a barn to go into and that sort of thing. If it's much below freezing in there, it's going to be tough for these little guys. So just like farmers and ranchers, we sort of have to control when these guys get together.
She is really cute.
She is.
It's like I just wanted to take her home to go play with my little Shih Tzu because they're the same height. I mean, it's crazy.
It's amazing. This little goat was born last week, and within the first day, she was climbing on the goat bridge, which if you're familiar with the zoo, there's a bridge that goes overhead, and she was climbing up there, and which is just amazing because I can remember back about 10 years ago when we built that goat bridge, we had some older goats, and we worked for weeks and weeks to get those goats to go on the bridge. They simply wouldn't do it.
Oh, for
So that whole saying about you can't teach an old dog new tricks, you can't teach an old goat new tricks. Because then you get a new one like this, and within a day, it's just scampering around exploring.
So how big will she eventually get?
She'll get to be about 25, 30 pounds.
Okay.
She's a pygmy goat. And
goat?
Her dad is actually a dwarf Nigerian goat. And he's not a whole lot bigger than this goat is right here. He's probably about 3 times this size. And so she's going to be just really tiny all her life.
Oh, wow. So will she ever outgrow her father's size?
She actually might because the mother is just a little bit bigger than the father. But we expect she'll be pretty close to dad's size, which is 20, 25 pounds.
Okay. So at one point in time will she get to her full height and weight?
Oh, by about 2 years of age.
2 years,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll be full grown pretty much.
And then when will she start producing little goatlings? I don't know what you call them.
Well, she'll hopefully not real soon because
not like the mother.
Yeah,
mother was a little promiscuous.
Yeah, well,
just a little bit.
It wasn't that we didn't exactly expect it because we brought in Nicholas from another facility in Wisconsin.
Okay,
and so it was for future breeding and. Yeah, it was all supposed to happen. We just thought maybe it'd be next year instead of this year. But
a little unplanned, but that's okay.
It all worked out okay. So, and May's falling asleep in my arms.
Oh, for funny.
And May will eventually go to another zoo. We certainly don't want her, to breed with Dad and that sort of thing.
Oh, that makes sense.
Nicholas is the only male we have. So she'll find a home at another facility, and obviously she'll be great because she loves people. She probably thinks she's a person. The last few days with school groups coming to the zoo.
Oh, I can imagine.
I don't know how many thousands of kids have petted this little goat, and she just loves it. She'll just come right up to the fence and pet me, I just love it. So
now, when they fall asleep, do they fall asleep like standing up with their eyes open, or do they normally close and lay down?
They'll lay down. They'll pretty much lay down in about the position she is now, just kind of, just kind of like your dog, pretty much.
Oh my gosh, I really should take her home for. It'd be so funny. Walk down the street, Bree on one side on the leash, and a little baby goat on the other leash. So now, do you do that with a lot of other zoos? Like work with other zoos and transferring animals, and if so, which ones do you primarily work with?
Well, there's about 220 zoos across the country that are accredited with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, as we are.
Okay.
AZA is what we call it.
Okay.
And the nice thing about that is all those zoos, they're inspected regularly. They have to. The bar is pretty high as far as being accredited and being a member of that group, and so it just basically goes without saying. You know that if you send an animal to one of those facilities, they're going to take care of her properly.
Very
cool. It's not going to end up in, not that a goat would end up in a hunting preserve or something like that, but something else could. And so you want those assurances, and you can trust your relationship with those folks, and so that makes it easy. So no doubt this little goat will find a home, Watertown, South Dakota. Who knows?
And at what point in time, like when she's full grown, or pretty soon here?
Probably this fall, because obviously goats will breed about 6 months of age.
Yeah, anytime, I guess.
And so by that
So
point,
that was the gestation period, 6 months?
Well, it's about 5 months. And so, she was at about 6 months of age, she was breeding. And so that's pretty incredible. It's really at the low end of the scale. Usually you think a yearling maybe is going to be, first time they actually breed. But
so obviously you guys have goats at the zoo. What other types of animals do you have for the people that haven't been there yet?
Well, in the petting zoo area, where the goats are at, it's pretty much the first thing you see when you come into the zoo. We've got a 6-month-old baby llama named Tony Llama, and he obviously, as you walk in, he's right there. He's our main greeter. He thinks he's a human.
Oh, for funny.
His mother died as she gave birth to him, and so
that's unfortunate.
He's been raised by humans and thinks of us as mom and dad, and that's okay. It works out. And
now, when was he born?
He was born in October.
Okay.
So he's about 6 months of age.
So the mother then passed away during birth. Does that happen often?
Not very often. She was an older female. She was 14 years old, which is, it's getting up there for a llama. And, things happen from time to time with cattle, with horses, with llamas. And so it's just, okay, here we go. We need to bottle raise this one. And so it's worked out. He's kind of one of the zookeeper's favorite pets, I'm sure. But otherwise, we've got everything from tigers, snow leopards, moose, wallabies.
And you have reptiles,
snakes.
too.
Yeah, various snakes, turtles. Even some amphibians, fish. We've got a couple of aquariums at the zoo as well. So a pretty well-rounded collection, mostly North American native animals. Bighorn sheep, Dall sheep, mountain goats.
Ones that we would kind of normally see around in this area.
Yeah, and by and large, animals that do really well in North Dakota winters.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, and so we, the zoo is not tax supported. And so,
nonprofit.
Yeah, it's nonprofit. We have to basically pay as we go on everything we do, and so each person that becomes a member, each person that visits a zoo, each person that rides a train, makes a donation. Those are all just very important things, and that's what's helped us to survive and to grow for 50 years.
Well, I was just going to say, because this year is your guys' 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the history of the Dakota Zoo. How did it become to what it is today?
Well, it started out, as a lot of zoos started, it was a dream of one individual. And it really wasn't his dream to start with. Back in the 1950s, Mark Christensen was sort of the guy in town. He had a farm up north, which is all surrounded with Best Buy and all those things there. That was his farm
up in that area. Wow.
And so
think how it's changed.
Yeah. He was the guy that if you wanted to go for a pony ride, he had ponies, and if you needed your dog boarded, because you're going out of town, he was the guy to do it. And so anything animals. And so I think early on, Game and Fish and Wildlife, as they would have an injured hawk or an owl or something, well, let's take it to Mark. Maybe he can do something with it.
Maybe he can fix it.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And I think that's sort of how it started. And then, of course, Mark's interest in animals, too. He had a good variety of different animals. I know they had pythons living in the house, various wildcats from time to time.
I could not imagine having a python living in my house.
It's just kind of a different world.
Oh my gosh, I'd have to say. I mean, if it gets out of the cage, little surprise in the bed.
But I think the story is that they had a snake that kind of lived up in the rafters, and so that was
my God.
That's where it hung out. And
I could not do that. I'm sorry. I could live with a goat. I mean, that goat is baby goat.
Yeah, goats are easy. It's the soft, furry, cuddly one.
It's the soft, furry, cuddly one. If you got the little area for him to go pooping, peeing outside. Have you ever heard of that? Like a story where someone actually has a house goat? Because, I mean, you hear people have all these different crazy animals like pigs and monkeys for pets. Have you ever heard of someone actually having a goat as a pet?
Yeah, I've heard of people that actually camp with goats. They have little backpacks for their goats, and the goats will carry
Yeah, that would make
their own
sense.
Food
Yep.
and things like that. Maybe can carry some other things. We've got one goat at the zoo. His name is Gilbert, and he is, what is he, about 8 years old now, and he's probably 200 pounds.
Wow.
So he could carry a pretty good sized backpack,
I suppose of like everything, the tent even.
Yeah, maybe even the tent. So. And so it's just a matter of raising them up. You don't hear too much about it.
I was going to say, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, goats are raised for milk, or for meat. A lot of people, not so much in the U.S., but in other countries.
Well, I know you hear of goat cheese, but I've never heard of goat meat. But like you said, it must be in other countries, different rituals and things.
Right.
So, okay, so going back to this guy's 50th anniversary, what do you guys have planned that's special for it to celebrate it? And when is actually like the day it started?
Well, the date it started was June 3rd, 1961. And there was a lot of work that went on, as I was mentioning before, with Mark. I think it was actually his wife, Betty, that when I think the 200th school kid showed up at the farm to check out the animals in one day, I think she said, Mark, you need to start a zoo.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it started. That was in the 50s. And the land was set aside by the park district for the zoo.
For a zoo, okay.
And so that really helped. A lot of things. A lot of people were helping Mark in those early years. Brush clearing and building fences and putting in water
different
lines
pen areas and
just kind of getting the whole thing started. There were just people coming out of the woodwork to help out.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was neat. And so that's one thing that the Dakota Zoo has really always enjoyed, is that the support, the community support, the financial support that people give.
Because as a nonprofit, I mean, that's what you guys, you need that.
Yeah, definitely.
So how can somebody become a member if they want to become a member of the Dakota Zoo?
Well, it's real easy. They can just stop in at the admissions window. We're open now every day from 10 to 7, weather permitting.
Yes,
and
of course.
It looks like the weather's going to permit a little more as the days
go on longer. I mean, the weather outside today, maybe not the greatest, but
as I left to come here, we had bus loads of school kids touring around the zoo, and
cool.
they're little troopers. They bundle up, and you hope that they went to school with jackets on, because they're certainly going to need them when it's 40,
outside today,
40-some degrees and the wind's blowing.
So, what does it mean to become a member then of Dakota Zoo? Like, what does a person do, and then like what are the benefits?
Well, and as I was saying, you could stop by the zoo. You could also do it online, dakotazoo.org.
Cool.
Just all sorts of ways to do that, and there's a lot of benefits. Probably the biggest is you get to come into our zoo, numerous times, as many times as you want in a season.
Nice.
You also get 10 train tickets, and that's a $25 value right there.
Oh, very nice.
So a $60 family membership, gets mom and dad and the kids in all season long.
And then they get to go on the train for like 25 times.
Train. We've got
or 10 tickets,
picnic.
you said.
Yeah, 10 tickets. We've got a picnic for members that we do in July, and so that's just a wonderful thing. It's a free picnic.
Oh, very
I don't
nice.
know of any other zoos in the country that do that.
That do a free picnic. No, I don't think I've ever heard of that either.
And it's great. I mean, and it's all weather dependent. If we've pretty much got it charted out. If it's 85 degrees, we'll have 3,000 people. If it's 90 degrees, okay, some of those people are going to stay home. We'll have like 2,700.
Little hot.
Yeah. But it's a lot of folks show up for that, and it's a neat, fun event.
And now that's in July?
Yeah, that's in July.
Now, is that Kids Day? Because you guys also have Kids Day.
No, that's coming up in June. We've got
that's
Children's
June.
Day.
That's right. That's right. Okay. And talk about that. What are you guys doing for that?
Well, Children's Day is really our day set aside for kids. We'll have Bismarck Police Department will be down, kind of